Good morning. The following Zoom session is being recorded and will appear later today on my YouTube channel, Math with Mayo. There are two different classes that may be observing this session. Therefore, when you participate in the Zoom meeting, if you do not wish for your picture or your name to be made public, please leave the video off and use an alias name. If you have questions during the meeting but do not wish to speak, email me at bmayo@ybcc.edu and I will respond as soon as I can. Alrighty, first off, I've got 6 questions that came in from a student. So we're going to begin with those, and then I'll open it up to other questions in case you missed the memo or whatever. Today we're reviewing for a test tomorrow, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. So first of all, we're looking at problem number 7. It says, suppose you are an elementary school teacher. You want to order a rectangular bulletin board to mount on a classroom wall that has an area of 40 square feet. So the wall of the classroom is 40 square feet. Suppose fire code requirements allow that no more than 30% of a classroom wall is to be covered by a bulletin board. All right, so the first thing we've got this wall that's 40 square feet, okay? So area is 40 square feet. I'm going to switch screens and go back here. So we've got this wall that's 40 square feet, but we can only use 30% of it, okay? So then the question is, what is 30% of 40 square feet? So what is 30% would be 0.3 times 40, which is going to be 12 square feet. Okay, so the total area of the bulletin board is 12 square feet. Any question about where I came up with the 12? All right, let's go back to the story problem. It says, if the length of the board is 3 times as long as the width, what are the dimensions of the largest bulletin board that meets the fire code? So the length is 3 times the width. So length, width, the length is 3 times the width. So if the width is x, the length would be 3x. All right. So what we've got, area is length times width, 12 square feet equals 3x times x. So this becomes our equation. Any questions on that? All right. So let's take that to the next page. 12 equals 3x times x. 12 equals 3x squared. So this is a second degree equation. I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides of the equation to get 0 equals 3x squared minus 12. I'm going to factor a 3 out, and then I'm going to use the difference of 2 squares to factor it down to that. So then I'm going to take each factor that contains a variable, set it equal to 0, and solve it. Subtract 2, x is negative 2, add 2, x is 2. So x equals negative 2. Let me write that a little more legibly. X equals negative 2, x equals positive 2. Those are the two solutions to this equation. However, once again, we're looking for lengths and widths, so we wouldn't use the negative answer. So the 2, this would be 2, this would be 3 times 2, which is 6, and that would be feet. So the length is 6 feet, and the width is 2 feet. Any questions on that before we go on to the next problem? Okay. Now we're going to take a look at, oh, and I don't know if I mentioned, these are out of 6.8. We're going to take a look at problem number 10. Okay. It says, refer to the diagram of a sail shown here. The length of the loof, I think that's how you say it, is 5 times longer than the length of the foot of the sail. Find the length of the foot and the length of the loof. So what we've got this triangle, and we know that the area is 90 square feet, and we've got, let's see here, we've got the foot and the loof. Okay, now the loof is 5 times longer than the length of the foot. So if the foot is X, the loof would be 5X. Okay, now we're dealing with a triangle and the area of the triangle. Area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. We're told that the area is 90 square feet. The base would be the foot in this case, so that would be X, and the loof would be the height, and that would be 5X. So we get 90 equals, let's see, 5/2 X squared. Is everybody clear where we got the 5/2? Okay. Do you want to get rid of the 2 in the denominator to get rid of the fraction, or do you want to live with it for now?
Can you show us what you're doing?
Sorry? Oh, sorry. Yeah, you got to tell me. I forgot to switch screens. My bad.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. So the area is 90 square feet. The foot is X. The loof is 5X. So we get this, which leads to this, which leads to that. Okay. Sorry about that. So any questions up to there? All right. Do you want to live with the 2 in the denominator or get rid of it? It's up to you.
Get rid of it.
How would you get rid of it?
Wouldn't you multiply everything by 2?
Absolutely. Good. So that's going to give us 180 equals 5X squared. Okay. Now, I've got a second degree equation. I'm going to put everything on the right. So I get 0 equals 5X squared minus 180. I'm going to take out the greatest common factor, which is a 5. Let's see. That's going to be a 36. So I'm going to get the difference of 2 squares, x plus 6, x minus 6. Then I'm going to take each factor that contains a variable and set it equal to 0. X plus 6 equals 0. X minus 6 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides of the first equation and add 6 to both sides of the second equation. The question said find the length of the foot and the length of the loof. Again, it's a distance. Again, it can't be negative. So x is 6. 5x would be 6 times 5 or 30. But since the area is square feet, the lengths are feet. So we've got the foot equals 6 feet. The loof equals 6 times 5 or 30 feet. All righty. Any questions on that before we go on? Okay. I'm going to switch back to the other screen now. Number 12. It says Delaware was the first state to enter the Union and Hawaii was the 50th. If we order the positions of entry for the rest of the states, we find that state A entered the Union right after state B. And the product of their re-entry numbers is 182. Use the given information to complete each statement. Okay, I'm looking at the problem and I'm seeing that the student that worked it out it looks like they got the right answers in terms of 13 and 14, but they've got them switched. And let's see if we can figure out why they're switched. Okay, now, if we order the positions of entry for the rest of the states, we find that state A entered the union right after state B. So that means that B was first. A is after B. So if B is first, B would have to be the 13th state and A would have to be the 14th state. Does that make sense? Okay. Do you still want me to work out all the details of the problem or not? If you do, let me know and I will. Otherwise, I'm going to go on. All right, I'm going to go on. So now we're going to look at some questions from the chapter review. So let's see here, chapter review. And starting with number 7. Oh no, my bad, number 5. Number 5. Okay, so here is problem number 5 from the chapter review. It says factor. This student forgot to leave a trail of breadcrumbs. Let me explain. Okay, 4, let's see, x to the 4th, y cubed, z squared, plus x, y to the 6th, z cubed, minus x, y cubed, z squared. Okay, so let's go back to the other screen. So looking across, I see that the greatest common factor is an x, a y cubed, and a z squared. Okay. So I need, let's see here. I need x cubed so that I get x to the 4th, y cubed, z squared. Okay. Then I need plus y cubed z so that I get x, y to the 6th, z to the 3rd. But here's the part that was wrong about the problem. I've got to be able to get back to here by multiplying. So I need a -1 so that I get minus x, y cubed, z squared. So this is the piece that was missing from the student's answer. Okay, so you've got to have that -1 in there so that you can distribute to get back there. A problem sometimes people look at it and say, well, I've already got that. Yeah, but you've got to get there by multiplying, by distributing. Okay, let's see, number 33. Coming up next. Okay, number 33. And can somebody tell me here, you can see the correct answer over here. Look at the answer the student had. Look at what's inside the parentheses. Can you see that there's still more that can be taken out? So the greatest common factor is actually bigger than this. 9CD minus 6C minus 12. You could take out an additional 3. So what was taken out was a common factor, but it wasn't the greatest common factor. So let me write this down. Okay, and let me switch back to my other screen. So looking at 27 and 18 and 36, Yes, you can take a 3 out, but you can actually take a 6 out of each of those. 6c squared d. Oh, wait a minute. I wasn't right about 6. It's not a 6. What is it? It's a 9. Because we can take, yeah, we can't take 6 out of it. We can take 9 out of 27, 9 out of 18, and 9 out of 36. So I get 9c squared d, and then the leftovers are 3cd minus 2c minus 4. This would give us 27 c cubed d squared minus 18 c cubed d minus 36 c squared d. So the greatest common factor should be a 9 c squared d. And then finally, number 42. Are we good to go on to 42? All right. Let's see here, number 42. It says, the face of the triangular concrete panel shown has an area of 24 square meters. So we're dealing with a triangle. And the area is 24 square meters. Its base is 4 times longer than twice its height. The base is 4 times longer than twice, or 4 meters, excuse me, I read that wrong. The base is 4 meters longer than twice the height. So the base is being compared to the height. So if we call the height x, the base would be 4 meters more than twice x. So what we get, we've got this triangle. The height is x, the base is 4 meters more than twice the height, or 2x plus 4. Okay. Now, the area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. So 24 equals 1/2 times the quantity 2x plus 4 times the quantity x. Any questions yet? All right, now, ordinarily, I might ask the question and say, hey, do you want to get rid of that 1/2 first to get rid of the fraction? But I'm not going to ask that, and here's why. Notice that inside the parentheses, both the 2 and the 4 are evenly divisible by a 2. So if I distribute the 1/2, I'm going to get 1/2 times 2x and 1/2 times 4, which is going to come out nicely to x plus 2. Do you see that? I still could have gotten rid of it, but I didn't see any point in it since it's going to get rid of itself. Any questions about what I just did there? All right, so then I get 24 equals x squared plus 2x. I see that this is a second degree equation, so I'm going to subtract 24 to put it in standard form. It's going to factor into x plus 6, x minus 4. We're going to take each factor that contains a variable, set it equal to 0, and solve that first degree equation. So x plus 6 equals 0, subtract 6 from both sides, x is -6. X minus 4 equals 0, add 4 to both sides, x equals 4. And once again, we're dealing with distance or length, so we're going to throw out the negative answer, and x is 4, so the height would be 4 meters. The base is 2x plus 4, so 2 times 4 plus 4, which is 12 meters. So the height is 4 meters, and the base is 12 meters. Now, going back to the problem, it just says find the length of the base. So the answer that would be put in would just be that one, 12 meters. All right, that answers the questions that I was asked ahead of time. Does anybody have any other questions, starting with 6.8 or the chapter review? Any other questions you'd like me to work through at this point in time? Okay, well, just a reminder, I'll be back at 1:15 today if you have any questions, okay? Tomorrow, Friday, you're going to be taking your test. It's due by Friday at 11:59. You can actually take it any time ahead of time as well, but once you start it, the timer starts, okay? Now, Monday is a holiday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, okay? So Monday, there'll be no class, no Zoom meetings, no office hour, no Mr. Mayo looking and asking or answering questions on the phone at 3 a.m. or at 2:30 in the afternoon or whatever, okay? It's a no class day. So unless you come to this office hour this afternoon, the next time that we will see each other will be on Tuesday, okay? So any questions about that? So your test is tomorrow, and then Tuesday is when we will meet again. Okay, well then I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.